Hi, in this video we will talk about diarrhea. So diarrhea is one of the most important cause of under 5 mortality. There are some common definitions, let's see them. First one is about the acute diarrhea. Its duration is less than 7 days and it has infectious etiology. Second one is the persistent diarrhea. It has a duration of more than 14 days and it also has an infectious etiology. Next one is the chronic diarrhea, which is rare, which is not very common. It has a duration of more than 14 days and it has a non infectious etiology, often associated with malabsorption. Let's first talk about acute diarrhea. It is defined as loose stools or change in consistency of stools, or a child who used to pass normal consistency now passes watery stools. Then it is defined as the acute diarrhea. Increase in the frequency of stools more than 3 times per day. Fine. Commonest infections that cause the diarrhea are viral as compared to bacterial. Overall, the most common causes rotavirus. Other viruses associated with the diarrhea in children include Norwalk virus, adenovirus, astrovirus, and calcivirus. Overall, most common bacterial cause in children is E. coli, that is enterotoxigenic E. coli. Other bacterial causes associated with the diarrhea in children include Salmonella, Shigella, and Campylobacter. Parasite-induced diarrhea are predisposed in children with immunodeficiency. Most common parasite that causes diarrhea is Giardia. Other parasites causing diarrhea are Entamoeba and Cryptosporidium. Cryptosporidium is the one which is the most common parasitic diarrhea in HIV positive children. Okay. Now coming to dysentery. What is dysentery? It is the presence of loose stools along with what? Blood in stools. Fine. Loose stools with blood is dysentery. Almost always bacterial in origin. Most common bacteria associated with the dysentery in children is Shigella flexneri. A child with diarrhea, most common cause is rotavirus, so no need to start the antibiotics, right? Antibiotics works against bacteria, but it's a virus, so mostly no need of antibiotics in diarrhea. However, if child has some dysentery, that is loose stools with blood in stools, it is almost always due to bacteria, and we should start antibiotics. Now coming to dehydration. First step in the management of diarrhea is to assess the child for dehydration. Based on the presence or absence of the dehydration and the severity of dehydration, there are three types of dehydration defined. First one is the no dehydration. Some dehydration in which 50 to 100 ml per kg of the fluid loss is seen, and there's something called severe dehydration in which the fluid loss of more than 100 ml per kg is seen. So in no dehydration, child is active and alert. In some, child is thirsty, slightly irritable, and in severe dehydration, lethargic. Skin pinch test will be less than 1 second in no dehydration, less than 2 seconds in some dehydration, and very slow or more than 2 seconds in severe dehydration. Now coming to the plan of management. In no dehydration, plan A is followed. In some dehydration, plan B, and in severe dehydration, plan C is followed. So, what is plan A? In plan A, we are just going to replace the ongoing losses by ORS, right? The fluid that is being lost in the loose stools, that is only being replaced. Fine. That is the replacement of the ongoing loss. That is only done. But in the plan B, there is rehydration, replacement that we saw, that ongoing losses, and the maintenance fluid is also given. Fine, and the plan C is also same, but there's some difference. We will talk about it. Starting with plan A, in which the replacement of ongoing losses is done by the ORS. So if the infant is less than 6 months, we have to give 50 ml of ORS, or one fourth glass for every loose stool. Every loose stool we have to give 50 ml of ORS. For 6 months to 2 years of the age, 50 to 100 ml of the ORS is given, or one fourth to half a glass of water for every loose stool. And in more than 2 years, 200 ml of ORS, or one glass for every loose stool. Okay. Now coming to plan B, there is something called rehydration ORS is given at 75 ml per kg over 4 hours. Fine. This is to rehydrate. Now the replacement same as this plan A. Fine. Replacement of the ongoing losses by the ORS similar to plan A. Maintenance fluid requirement, or maintenance fluid, or the daily requirement fluids are calculated by this Holiday-Cigar formula. 0 to 10 kg, 100 ml per kg, 10 to 20 kg, this 1000 from 0 to 10, and for the next 10 to 20, 50 ml per kg above 10, and for more than 20 kg, 150 ml plus 20 ml per kg for above 20 kg. It's very simple. Let's take an example of 22 kg child that we have to calculate fluid for. So we have to divide first in 10 plus 2. If it was 5 or 6 or whatever, we will write it here. Now for the first 10 kg, we have to take by 100 ml per kg, right? This will be 100 into 10, 1000 ml for the first 10 kg. Now for the next 10 kg, we have to give fluid by 50 ml per kg, right? So this will be 50 into 10, 500. And for the next, see, for the next last more than 20 kg, it's 20 ml per kg. So 20 into 2 is 40 by 20 ml per kg. So this will be what? 1000 plus 500 plus 40 is 1540 ml. This is the fluid that we need to give in 24 hours. Now it's upon us. Either we can divide it by 3 or by 2 to give it like 8 hourly. If we divide it by 3, then the whatever comes, it will be, this comes out to be 513 ml 8 hourly. Okay, this is how fluid is calculated. This is the maintenance formula, maintenance fluid. Okay, this is the example that's given here. Moving ahead to plan C. So in plan B, rehydration was 75 ml per kg over 4 hours, right? The only difference in the plan C, rehydration is rehydration is with the IV fluids since child is lethargic. RL is preferred over NS. 100 ml per kg of the fluids is given. There was 75 ml, here it is 100 ml per kg of the fluid is given, and it is divided into two parts, 30 ml per kg and 70 ml per kg. So that 30 ml per kg is given over either 1 hour or half hour, and that 70 ml per kg is given over 5 hour or 2.5 hour. That depends on the age. If the infant is less than 1 year, then 30 ml per kg over 1 hour and 70 ml per kg over 5 hour. Total duration will be 6 hours. And if the infant is more than 1 year, then 30 ml per kg over half hour and 70 ml per kg over 2.5 hours. That comes total to 3 hours. Okay, and the same replacement of ongoing losses as plan A and the daily maintenance fluid that we just saw, Holiday-Cigar formula. This is all same. The only difference was in the rehydration and plan C. Divided into total fluid needs to be given as 100 ml per kg, which is divided in 30 and 70 and given over different duration. Moving ahead, fluids are the cornerstone of treatment in diarrhea. Fluid can be given orally as ORS or as IV fluids if child is not able to take orally. In addition to fluids, zinc is recommended in the management of diarrhea. Fine. Why is zinc recommended? Because zinc helps in epithelialization of the GIT. It also decreases the severity of flu stools as well as decreases the future recurrence of the diarrhea in children. Okay, so what is the dose of the zinc? For less than 6 months, 10 mg per kg, and for more than 6 months, 20 mg per day. Sorry. Duration is 14 days irrespective of the age. No role of antimotility agents like loperamide, not no recommended recommendations for anti-secretory agents like resicodotril, no guidelines or recommendation for the probiotics. Now coming to ORS. WHO recommended the low osmolarity ORS being used now. Total osmolarity of that is 245 milliosmol per liter. ORS is composed of electrolytes and glucose, the composition of which is as follows. Sodium is 75, glucose is 75, potassium is 20, chloride is 65, and citrate is 10. Both the glucose and the sodium are kept in the same concentration as the intestine. The SGLT1, sodium glucose co-transporter, transport one molecule of sodium and one molecule of glucose. Therefore, both are kept in the ratio of 1:1. Because of this, sodium glucose co-transporter. Fine. Now, what are the indications for antimicrobial treatment? For dysentery, third generation cephalosporin like cefixime can be used as an oral medication. Other medication that can be useful are the ciprofloxacin and azithromycin. For severe malnutrition, ampicillin and gentamicin. Cholera, doxycycline, giardiasis, metronidazole. Now coming to persistent diarrhea. What was persistent diarrhea? It was diarrhea persisting for more than 14 days and is due to an infection, having infectious etiology. So it starts as an acute diarrhea but persists for more than 14 days and is due to an infection. It is predisposed in children with the following risk. Age less than 1 year, 6 months to 1 year. This may be due to the immaturity of the GIT as well as immune system to overcome the infection, which is why infection persists for more than 14 days. This is the first risk factor, age less than 1 year. Second one is the low birth weight or small for gestational age baby or malnutrition. Delayed mucosal healing of the GIT. This results in unusually prolonged diarrhea and persistent diarrhea. Now coming to some organisms. E. coli. E. coli is what? Enteroadherent E. coli, enteroaggregatory E. coli, Salmonella and Shigella. Lactose intolerance. It is both a risk factor as well as a consequence of the persistent diarrhea. CMPA and the cow or the cow milk protein allergy, beta lactoglobulins and casein. Fine. This can also. It is both a this lactose intolerance. No, it is both a risk factor as well as a consequence of persistent diarrhea. Okay. And this cow milk protein allergy is due to these two things, that is beta lactoglobulins and casein. Moving ahead to the consequences, it can predispose to nutritional deficiency, especially micronutrients like vitamin A. Imperative to give 1 dose of the vitamin A while treating the persistent diarrhea. Fine, in persistent diarrhea, we have to give 1 dose of vitamin A. Now, coming to the lactose intolerance, it is acquired or secondary due to persistent diarrhea. Lactose enters in the GIT from milk consumed. Lactose is digested with the help of the enzyme lactase. Lactase is produced from the tip of gastrointestinal villi. In persistent diarrhea, there is loss of the tip villi leading to the loss of lactase activity. Fine. So this tip of the villi is lost. So there is loss of this lactase activity and there is no digestion of the lactose. The lactose is now made to pass down the GIT in its undigested form, and once it reaches the colon, the colonic bacteria converts them into lactic acid and hydrogen, and lactic acid can be extracted into the stool, causing the perianal excoriation or the rash. Hydrogen, being gaseous substance, when excreted in the stool, causes explosive stools and gaseous stools. Fine. So this is what happens in lactose intolerance. There is lactic acid production causing perianal excoriation and rash, and due to the hydrogen, which is a gaseous substance, and excreted in the stool, it causes explosive stools or the gaseous stools. Coming to the management part. ORS after assessing the dehydration, zinc, same dose and the duration as in the acute diarrhea. This is the treatment of management of persistent diarrhea we are reading about. Vitamin A supplementation need to be given in less than 6 months, 50,000 international units, 6 to 12 months, 1 lakh international units, and more than 12 months, 2 lakh international units. Decrease or completely avoid the lactose in the diet and done in 3 steps. Fine, it completely avoid the lactose in the diet, which is done in 3 steps. Decrease or avoid the lactose intolerance. What steps need to be done? Firstly, diet A, which low lactose, diluting or decreasing the amount of milk given in the diet by rice milk gruel or the suji milk gruel or the rice curd mixture. If still no reaction, diet B needs to be given, which is a no lactose diet, and if still no response, sorry, it's no response, then diet C needs to be given, which has no lactose and no starch even. So it is a monosaccharide based diet, plain glucose, egg white, and chicken puree. And in diet B, we have to completely avoid milk and dairy products along with a reduced amount of the starch, cereals, glucose, egg, chicken, protein recipes. We need to take these. Fine, reduce the starch by taking the cereals and the glucose or egg, chicken, protein recipes. And R is not responding. So this was all about diarrhea. Thank you.